Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we take a random story idea and see where it takes us.
Today's story idea, speed running. Someone tell me what this is.
Speedrunning is when you're trying to get through a game in the fastest, most efficient way possible, or trying to get to a specific thing. For example,
Well,
there's
it's a
speedrunning
type
to
of...
touch grass.
Okay, so the whole concept is challenge runs are a video game thing where you play a video game, but you put some arbitrary restriction on it to make it harder so it's more fun for the people doing it, is the idea. The most common challenge run is speedrunning, which is where you try to win the game or do something in the game as fast as you possibly can.
Okay.
Mhm.
There could be various ways you could take this. I don't know if y'all have
So
ideas.
the first thing that
Okay.
I think about is stupid isekais, because a lot of anime loves to have this concept of let's isekai someone to a video game world, but then like pick and choose video game logic, but only the stuff but have it not actually make any sense according to the real world or video game logic.
Well,
Yep,
we don't want to
usually.
do that. We want to write a good story.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, hey, I have an idea. They go to a video game based world, but there's no balance in this game whatsoever, and they immediately completely break it because they were good at the game. Because it's not like skills
Okay,
what makes you good at the
let's
game.
not get on to what isn't good. Let's
Anyway,
get on to what we
so
can
but
do
if you
good.
had a
So how could you make
speedrunner
this work?
be isekai'd into a game he had played, that would be fun.
Look.
The big
Okay, so
problem.
he's played the game a million times. He gets isekai'd into the game, and it's not like the video game.
Well, the first thing that would happen is it would be a lot like the video game.
Okay, so it
but
starts off a
I
lot
can
like the
imagine-
game, and he just goes, "Oh, I know how to do this,"
So
and he starts playing, and "Oh, we've got a terrible problem with the kingdom and the
No.
princesses saved."
no, it's not that. It's the king says, "Hero, we need you," and he's running out the door.
Here, we need you to skip.
Bang! But let me shoot that right there. That'll hit that criminal on the head. Okay, thanks. I'm gonna need this thing.
Okay, an interesting thing would be for this guy to be a speedrunner. So he's going to get in here and he's going to think, I know exactly what I need to do. And he's going to go start doing all those things. Then after a few, a little bit of that, he realizes
Can we have it crashing down on
that's
him?
all wrong. I just caused a lot of problems because I went fast instead of smart, assuming everything was the same in this that it is in the video game. Because it looked like the video game, it is the video game, and it's not.
Mm.
And so
Pretty
now
interesting.
it is actually
Yeah,
some kind
my
of,
glitch to get through this wall isn't working.
but it's actually some
Yeah.
kind of world that the video game was based off of. But all those same things that you did in the video game don't work. So he first comes in and he kind of makes a mess of it.
But
He
thinks
and people
he
get
thinks
all
he's just
mad at
speedrunning
him.
and fixing all their problems, but then
And-
maybe when they first see it, it looks like he fixed the problem. So he goes, he collects a few rewards, he does his things, and he's just seeing how quickly he can
But then he
speed run through the game.
realizes that what I'm doing is actually bad for the big problem, and this isn't all like the video game.
And he's made
And
a big
so then-
mess.
So what's the plot of the video game itself? that
Hold on,
he's
and then
speedrunning?
he's going to have. Well, this would be a good thing to think of when we're coming up with it. And then he's going to have to step back and say, okay, I need to think this out. I need to research and things. The only
Yeah.
problem is there is some event, coming up in however many days or something.
that he's
It
already
has
probably
to be
fixed.
natural. No, that if he doesn't fix, so he then actually has
No,
to.
he thought he's already
Right.
fixed it.
But
but
then he
messed
actually
it up.
Right. Then he actually realizes
Okay.
I now only have so much time, so I have to get
Surprisingly,
through
I
this
think
quickly.
this concept you just made it. You made it better, but I think you also made it like twice as hard to write.
Well, that's okay. I love a challenge.
Yeah, but the question is, how does he do something that messes? Because I mean, even if you make things super complex, okay,
Because
He's
the
taking
world he is
skips.
in isn't really the video game. He only thinks it is because the video game's based off that world.
It's very simple to solve a problem and then create more. You just do things like you kill the monster and you leave its body out, and then it, causes
Oh yeah,
issues.
like
Or you
Rising of the Shield Hero used that
has
a lot of
several
times,
examples of
but
this, yes.
Right.
But or you take or you rescue the princess and bring her back to the kingdom, but then you don't know that she was actually,
Possessed by a demon?
And then
yeah,
you-
or being held captive in the kingdom, and she's not really the king's daughter, or she's,
you figure out things are not what they look like.
here's the thing though. You can't really have things be what they don't look like, because one of the big things about speedrunners is they will know the game better than any other group of people.
Exactly. He
So
knows
here's the
the
thing.
game, but the
That
game
is
is
the
not
point.
the world.
The game and the world. So the game,
not
the
the
world
same.
is based off the game. So when he
Game's based
gets
off the
to
world,
it,
yes.
he thinks, I am a speedrunner. I know how to do this. He starts
know the
running
game
through.
in
Oh
and
yeah,
out.
I've memorized this whole game. Yeah, let's just do this. But then he finds out, oh wait a second. In the game, this princess was
Was in
was
love with
possessed
the,
by a
character.
demon when you did this, and so you had to do this and this. It wasn't the case,
Mhm.
but
Now
that
she's
wasn't
not.
the case. She wasn't possessed by a demon here. Okay, are other things different right now?
Mhm.
Wait. Oh,
So
Hmm.
this was the person who was
isn't
possessed by a demon who I did
the
not do
world.
anything to stop.
The game
And now
looks
there's
on
a
the
demon
surface
attacking the
like the
city.
game.
Oh, dang it.
The game looks on the surface like the world, but it's not actually the world. So he comes in, and he does,
Because
and so he
I'm in a
initially
slightly
thinks
different
that
direction.
it's
I
his
would take
world.
it, but okay.
But this would be very
Yeah, he-
interesting to write. You would have to plan some things out very well before starting
yeah.
writing this.
Yeah, also to make the world similar enough to actually make it believable to be the game, but different enough. That is the hardest challenge.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Because if you make it completely different,
Right.
then he's not playing.
He's not going to think it's the same game.
Yes, but so it's like, oh, I mean, you still have. So the person. So how would you do that? Because you're like, oh, I already know who's secretly the traitor. I'll go ahead and grab the evidence right now. It's right. I
He'll
already
go
know where
get
it is.
arrested and thrown in the dungeon. But then later he finds out that guy wasn't actually.
No, you don't get him arrested. Well, here's how you do it. He's like, okay, he hid the. I already know where he hid the evidence.
Ah.
That's how this works. I mean, very rarely in games do you act. Okay, a lot of games you do have the authority to just go up and kill the evil people and then be done with it. But often with quest lines that actually have stories, it'll be, hey, who's the traitor here? You don't just go. I mean, you usually end up fighting the traitor yourself personally because it's a game, but you'd still find the evidence and stuff. So it would be, okay, I'm just going to go over here and, oh, look at this. Ah, look at these logs. You've been doing something. And brings it directly to the king. Yeah, look through that. You might find some useful stuff. Runs off. Would not actually stop to talk to people because that slows him down.
Yes,
yeah.
but here's your thing. You get something like that where he thinks, I have found the traitor. And so, this is how it is in the video game. I found the traitor. The evidence was there. And then
Yeah.
he finds out, wait a second, that was actually planted evidence, and he was actually being threatened by this other guy. You could work this out
Yeah.
so that it looks like the game, but
What
it's
if-
not.
What if the creator of the video game is in this world and created the video game with the, to make it look the same on the surface, but not, but is doing.
Well, then you have the problem of if it was just made to look like this world, then there would be basically no similarities because, well, how long ago was this game made? Long enough that someone speedrun through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which in just a few days the political climate can change.
Yeah, but time doesn't have to work the same in all these worlds.
True.
I'm saying I would have a really hard time writing this.
Or you can also do it as, instead of it's a separate world, it is the same video game world where they have hard things that have to be, but there's a lot of manipulation behind the scenes, and so to really get into what isn't that superficial, hey, that evidence has to be there because that's part of the game.
Ooh,
There's a
that
lot
might be
going on.
interesting. If you have him, he's normally a speedrunner, and so he runs the game, and he knows all. he knows the ins and outs of the entire game, but he doesn't actually usually go for the secret endings where things actually get resolved, because unless he's speedrunning the secret ending. And so there's actually a lot of, because here's the thing, when you have intrigues behind the scenes like that, the fans figure it out pretty quickly. If the authors, if the creators knew about it, then the fans would probably figure it out eventually.
Well, we don't have to
just from the
say we don't have
context.
to say the things behind the game are actually in the game at all.
What I'm saying is if he's actually in the game itself. But what I'm saying is, another. There are many routes you could take with this. One of the things you could do is have him say, "Wait a second, there are these things in the game, and you're not actually able to fix them in the game." Because that's another thing, is you're not always able to fix all problems in games. And so it could be, hey, I'm really good at this game. I know the ins and outs of this entire world, but I don't have a pre-planned path to actually take down this one secret organization, because they're kind of just in the background the whole time manipulating things. And yeah, there's like one epilogue where they're briefly mentioned to being taken down, but that's like that's not, you don't actually take them down type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can name games that do that. Another option, which is a completely different route for this whole concept, but was actually the first thought that I had when I heard speedrunning story, is instead of it, which is it less of an isekai, but is you can have a guy have a quest he has to complete, but instead of having him know the world from speedrunning it, have him actually get the ability to speedrun it. And what I mean by that is give him the power of save points.
He can go back to a save
Mhm.
point.
Yeah, give him the power of save points. Because this is the other big thing about speedrunning. It's not just about memorizing the game, it's about repeatedly doing similar tasks over and over again. And so,
Until you can make
yeah, so
everything turn out
because
perfectly.
here's the thing, if you have him just
I am so out of my
if you have him just get thrown into a world he has speedrun, he has no motivation to speedrun it. He's a speedrunner, but he doesn't really have a reason to speedrun it. He wouldn't. Yes, he might think he knows more than he actually knows or something, but
Or it can instead
that's not
be something
speedrunning.
like
That's
he
just an
was
isekai.
he was born in this world and he's trying to helping
He
to fight
gets
against the Dark
blessed by
Army or
some-
something.
he gets
and then
some
he
kind
was
of
killed
cool
in the Dark
blessing
Army,
that gives him
and
the
then he
ability to
went
go
back
back
to
and
the
save
very
points.
beginning of it, and then he went, wait a second, what the?
Okay.
Went through the exact same thing, died again, went right back, and then he realized, I'm just going back. I might have a shot at figuring out exactly how to solve all this.
Well,
And so then he
That
starts
is-
memorizing
that is
the
one
entire
direction to take,
universe,
though.
and then
But-
eventually gets to the
okay.
point
'Cause
where
that one
he
would be
finally
interesting.
manages to
you
get
can
through it
also
all.
get to a point where he's got to do it quickly because he's met his girl or something, which there's plenty of places to put a love story in here.
Well,
But he's
here's
met,
what you
and
do.
then she's been captured by this Dark Lord, this big bad,
Mhm.
whatever the BBEG is. Okay, so he gets captured by the BBEG, and she's captured. He's now got a reason to speed run and hurry.
Mhm.
No, here's what you do. You have it be, they're in the middle of this war when he gets this power to go back to the starting point. But as he starts doing it, he discovers the further he gets along with it, he's able to survive longer and longer until he discovers that at some point, like 3 months past the point where it starts, the enemies will make a big move that he can't counter. He has to find a way to solve this before then. And so then he starts he starts finding ways to solve it before then, and to do things on his own, memorizing things, going, okay, I need to tell you, don't go through the south pass, go through the north. And like going around, trying to hit as many places as possible to fix all these battles. And then after a while, he's super close to being able to do it within the 3 months. And then he discovers, actually, if I can do this in 2 months, I can actually save a lot more people. I can save this one girl I like or something. And basically have him try to push it back himself to see how many people he can save by the end. And so by the end of it, it's just like, okay, hey, let me First
So by
day,
the
I'm
end
going
of
to
it,
send.
he
I'm going to
goes
write
back-
12 letters telling people exactly what to do on specific times. I'm going to rush this way. I can't fight people right now because I'm in the same state I started in technically, but I do know how to bypass the entire army, sneak in here. Oh wait. So if I take this route, nobody's going to be looking at this exact point right here. So I'm going to. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
wait for the control to pass. Okay, run through here, and where's that one crack I found that one time?
I do think that's an interesting concept.
And then by
I do
the end, he
personally like
beats it
the
in like
guy
3
trying
weeks.
to speed run and
Mhm.
I personally do like the idea where he tries to speed run and then finds out that he can't and goes back and fixes it. But that is interesting too. Then
Yeah.
Okay, so there are
There's
lots
fun
of
options.
of
Mhm.
different ways you can take this. We've
So
thrown out
who
a
could
lot of
write
ideas.
this, and how would you write it differently? Because you'd probably
Uh,
do a very good job with the speed
yeah,
running
he
goes
would
through.
I know what speedrunning actually is.
Yeah, he's
I'm the
he's-
video game nerd
He's
here.
the video game player. So if
the
he
second
writes it,
one,
it's
I
going
think
to
I
be
could do that.
yeah.
It would be difficult,
Uh-huh.
but
Right.
I'd enjoy trying.
See,
I think the
if-
attempted speed run would be more.
if
To
I-
me, that's more
right, if
interesting.
I
So I
were
would
to
probably
write
write
it,
it as
yeah.
he tries to speed run and then finds out it doesn't work the way he thought it
yeah,
would.
and that this world is really.
But I would probably get your help with it so that you know,
I
Probably.
do that on a
because
lot
you know
of
video
things
games better than
where
me.
it's like, okay, this is your area of expertise. Tell me about it.
Hey,
This
get
is
lots of
yours.
help when you write. It's good
So-
for you.
Yeah, so we'd love to hear your ideas. Put them in the comments and give us more
Ideas?
Give us more
Ideas.
prompts to put in our hat.
Mhm.
And we'll see you next time.